Hello everyone, this is Kerry Anderson. Hope you all doing well. In today's video, I'll be talking about 7 types of intermittent fasting and what to know about them. So if you like the video related to total health, I would like to request you all please do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon or give thumbs up so that I will come up with more and more videos with lots and lots of information. So here we begin. Let's go. The 7 types of intermittent fasting and what to know about them. The very first one, I'll be talking about the proposed health benefits of intermittent fasting. When it comes to weight loss, there are 2 thoughts behind why intermittent fasting has the potential to work. The first, periods of fasting produce a net calorie deficit, so you lose weight. So the other concept is more complex. This approach may prevent what's called the plateau phenomenon from happening. You may remember the famous so-called Biggest Loser study. The researchers followed up with participants from the TV show after 6 years, and despite their initial impressive weight loss, and they had regained most of the weight and their metabolic rates has slowed, such that they burned far fewer calories than would have been expected. Though more research is needed on the safety and effectiveness on intermittent fasting, one of the touted benefits of this approach is that it may prevent this metabolic sputtering. Most people who try diet and exercise to lose weight tend to fall off the wagon and regain weight. Hormones that promote weight regain, like hunger hormones, are kicked into full gear, and the thought is that intermittent fasting may be a way to prevent this metabolic adaptation from happening. The idea is that the normal periods of eating in intermittent fasting trick your body into losing weight before the plateau happens. So does it actually lead to weight loss? Anecdotal evidence has led proponents of the plan to believe so. For the people who can adhere to intermittent fasting, it does work. But fans of the approach claims there is so much more to intermittent fasting than just a lean body. Okay, so also separate research analyzed 11 intermittent fasting trials that were at least 8 weeks long and involved adults who were considered obese or overweight. 9 of those studies showed that an intermittent fasting program wasn't effective as traditional dieting at helping participants lose weight and body fat. Finally, another study found that 12 weeks of intermittent fasting didn't affect cholesterol level, but it did lead to weight loss and decreased systolic blood pressure. That said, it's important to note that studying human longevity is much more complicated than simply looking at weight loss. That's why much of the research that suggests intermittent fasting promotes a longer lifespan has been done in animals, including fruit flies. Other research has suggested that. So now I'll be talking about the 7 types of intermittent fasting to consider. The very first one is 5:2 fasting. This is one of the most popular intermittent fasting method. The best-selling book The Fast Diet introduces it to mainstream, and the outlines everything you need to know about this approach. The idea is to eat normally for 5 days, don't count calories, then on the other 2 days eat 500 or 600 calories a day. For women and men respectively, the fasting days are any days of your choosing. The idea is that short bouts of fasting keep you compliant. Should you be hungry on a fasting day, you just have to look forward to the next day when you can feast again. Some people say I can do anything for 2 days, but it's too much to cut back on what I eat all 7 days. So then the second part, time restricted fasting. With this type of intermittent fasting, you choose an eating window every day, which should ideally leave a 14 to 16-hour fasting period. Due to hormonal concern, so fasting promotes autophagy, the natural cellular housekeeping process where the body clears debris and other things that stand in the way of the health of mitochondria, which begin when liver glycogen is depleted. With this approach, you set your eating window from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For instance, it can work especially well for someone with a family who eats an early dinner anyway. Then much of the time spent fasting is time spent sleeping anyway. So, but this is dependent on how consistent you can be. If your schedule is frequently changing, or you need or want the freedom to go out to breakfast, occasionally head out for a late date night, or go to happy hour, daily periods of fasting may not be for you. Now, the third part, overnight fasting. This approach is the simplest of the bunch, and it involves fasting for a 12-hour period every day. For example, choose to stop eating after dinner by 7 p.m. and then resume eating at 7 a.m. with breakfast the next morning. Autophagy does still happen at the 12-hour mark, though you will get more mild cellular benefits. This is a minimum number of fasting hours she recommends. So, a benefit of this method is that it's important or easy to implement. Also, you don't have to skip meals. If anything, all you are doing is eliminating a bedtime snack. So, if you are using fasting for weight loss, a smaller fasting window means more time to eat, and it may not help you decrease the number of calories you consume. Then it comes to the fourth part, eat, stop, eat. So, this approach, you can complete one or two 24-hour fasts per week and commit to a resistance training program when your fast is over. I want you to pretend then it never happened and eat responsibly. That's it. Nothing else. So, eating responsibly refers to going back to a normal way of eating where you don't binge because you just fasted, but you also don't restrict yourself with an extreme diet or eat less than you need. Occasional fasting combined with regular weight training is best for fat loss. By going on one or two 24-hour fasts during the week, you allow yourself to eat a slightly higher number of calories on the other 5 or 6 non-fasting days. That it makes it easier and more enjoyable to end the week with a calorie deficit, but without feeling as if you had to be on an extreme diet. Then it comes to the whole day fasting. Here, you eat once a day. Some people choose to eat dinner and then not eat again until the next day dinner. So, with whole day fasting, the fasting periods are essentially 24 hours, dinner to dinner or lunch to lunch, whereas with 5:2, the fasting period is actually 36 hours. For example, you eat dinner on Sunday, then fast on Monday by eating 500 or 600 calories and break it with breakfast on Tuesday. The advantage of whole day fasting is done for weight loss is that it's really tough to eat an entire day's worth of calories in one sitting. The disadvantage of this approach is that it's hard to get all the nutrients your body needs to function optimally with just one meal. Not to mention, this approach is tough to stick to. You might get really hungry by the dinner rolls round, and that can lead you to consume not so great calorie dense choices. Think about it. When you are ravenous, you are not exactly craving broccoli. Many people also drink coffee in excess to get through their hunger, so which can have negative effects on your ability to sleep. You may also notice brain fog throughout the day if you're not eating. Then it comes to the sixth part, alternate day fasting. This approach was popularized. So this is a popular approach for weight loss. In fact, in research found that in overweight adults, alternate day fasting significantly reduced body mass index, weight, fat mass, and total cholesterol. You may be concerned about feeling hungry on fasting days. Previous research published so decreased by week 2, and the participants started feeling more satisfied on the diet after week 4. The downside was that during the 8 weeks in the experiment, so which can make adhering to this approach challenging. Last not least, choose your day fasting. This is more of a choose your own adventure approach to intermittent fasting. You might do the time restricted fasting, fast for 16 hours, eat for 8, for instance, every other day or once or twice a week. So what that means is that Sunday might be normal day of eating where you stop eating by 8 p.m. Then you would resume eating again on Monday at noon. Essentially, it's like skipping breakfast a few days a week. Something to keep in mind. The research is on the effects skipping breakfast has on weight loss is mixed. There is not